WWE Network presents The Horror Show at Extreme Rules Kickoff.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, something wicked this way comes. We are just about an hour away from one of the most extreme nights of the year as we get set for The Horror Show at Extreme Rules, coming your way 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on the WWE Network. We're going to get you all set up right here on the kickoff show alongside the Professor, Peter Rosenberg. I'm Scott Stanford, and my friends, we're going to be joined by Renee Young, Hall of Famers Booker T and JBL in just a bit. And Peter, I got to tell you, tonight is set up to be truly horrific, and I'm not just talking about your jacket, my friend.
Please, when you disrespect the jacket, you're disrespecting the late, great Bobby Heenan, okay? That's what this is. This is called homage. And for the record, I consider it a horror show every time we work together, but you're right. It's especially horrific tonight. What is an eye for an eye match?
Dude, you talk about horrific. Eye for an eye is in the dictionary under that term. Somebody's leaving without some vision here tonight. It's bone-chilling.
Exactly. There are going to be some horrific, gruesome things that happen tonight at Extreme Rules. So I'm very, very curious about what we have in store.
And I mean, look at some of the other stipulations. This was Wyatt swamp fight. I mean,
have you ever had a swamp fight?
I've never even stepped my toe into a swamp. I don't like the alligators.
You're not a swamp guy.
I'm not a swamp guy. I don't like the gators, the snakes, the frogs, anything that comes with it. I'm out.
I have a tendency to believe that anytime you're dealing with Bray Wyatt, you want to try to stay in the middle of the ring. Keep it safe. Stay right there inside those ropes. When you start entering into crazy places, whether it be a fun house or a swamp, I think you're playing right into the hands of the World Eater.
Yeah, I'm sweating just thinking about it. And ladies and gentlemen, listen, if you haven't done so already, all you have to do is subscribe to the WWE Network because tonight's card is absolutely insane. Let's run it down, show you what's on tap. You know, ever since Dolph Ziggler returned to Raw, the show-off claims he's responsible for Drew McIntyre's success. Ziggler believes he's owed a title opportunity, and tonight he gets it. McIntyre puts the WWE Championship on the line with the match stipulation in Ziggler's hands. Can Drew fend off another challenger to the title? We're going to find out tonight.
You know, people overuse the word legend. However, that is not the case with Rey Mysterio. An absolute legend has an eye for an eye match with the Monday Night Messiah, Seth Rollins.
Pete, the SmackDown Women's title up for grabs tonight. Nikki Cross won a fatal four-way for a shot at Bayley's championship. Can Bayley Dostraps continue her reign atop the women's division? Or will Nikki put an end to Bayley's record-setting run?
I'll say it, and I mean it. This could be the best pure wrestling match on the card tonight at the Horror Show at Extreme Rules. Maybe two of the best wrestlers in the world. Asuka against Sasha Banks for the Raw Women's Championship.
Ladies and gentlemen, the United States title has a brand new look, but will it have a brand new owner after tonight? Apollo Crews puts his title on the line against MVP. Can MVP turn back the clock and regain the championship that made him famous? Or does Crews continue to shine?
And also, this has been brewing for some time, and it's going down tonight on the Extreme Rules Kickoff Show. Kevin Owens gets his hands on Murphy.
My friends, the animosity between the New Day and Shinsuke and Cesaro have reached its boiling point. Tonight, Big E and Kofi going to defend their tag team championship in a tables match against what could be their biggest challenge to date. Can Cesaro and Nakamura finally get the respect they want and walk away with the tag team gold?
And you know what this is about. That's right. We're talking about a Wyatt swamp fight. Braun Strowman against his former leader of the Wyatt family, Bray Wyatt, in a swamp? Whew.
Oh, my friends, the Horror Show at Extreme Rules ready to unleash chaos on the WWE Universe. And Peter, you saw what happened on Friday Night SmackDown against John Morrison. You know what's even scarier than a monster among men? A possessed monster among men. Strowman looked a little maniacal on Friday night.
Well, Strowman is maniacal. Let's be clear. Braun Strowman's an absolute maniac, and he disposed of John Morrison in less than 2 minutes. It lets you know the zone, the headspace that he's in, and frankly, it's the headspace he has to be in, because if you go to sleep, and if you're not thinking all right? Through every single move you're gonna make, you're gonna get outsmarted by Bray Wyatt. That's what he does, so that's the place Braun Strowman has to be in.
You know, this match actually called a Wyatt swamp fight. You know, Wyatt created Strowman in the swamps. You know, who does this favor more, in your opinion?
Listen, as long as I'm not in the swamp, I'm good. All right, look at us. We're not meant to be in a swamp, okay? I'd be lost in a swamp.
Yeah.
I assume you need bug spray, some sort of protective net. I'm going nowhere. No one in my family's been
Guys
near a
like you
swamp.
and me, we're not
I'm not going near a swamp.
Yeah.
I would say this favors Bray Wyatt. I would. Like I said, the further you get away from a ring, the more I think it favors Bray and his maniacal ways.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the monster and his creator look to end one another tonight in the swamp.
It was years ago, in that fitted maw of a swamp, that I met the evil incarnate, the split-tongued father of lies, the eater of worlds.
The world is a very scary place.
Stop lying to your children!
The ones who are meant to protect you are the ones that you should fear most. All that you shall leave behind is smoke, desolation, and damnation.
I became his horseman, the bringer of pain and pestilence, the apocalypse. I loved every second of it. I've done everything in my power to lock that side of me away.
Here comes the monster among men! Strowman is annihilating everything in his path. A monster of a universal champion!
For years, his siren songs were silenced to a whisper. But then...
What's wrong, brother? You look like you've seen a ghost. Now, in order for us to move forward, we must first take a step back to where it all began.
You know where to find me!
To destroy him, I must become him.
I created you, Braun. Therefore, it is my duty to destroy you.
I must drown the serpent in his own savage swamp.
This is a place where all the horrors of the world feel right at home!
I am ready to walk through the gates of hell and slap the devil himself in his face.
That monster that I created!
It's just waiting to come home.
I had to go home and end him before he ends me. Let's go home.
Run.
Hey guys, we are here with our secondary panel for the kickoff show. We've got 3 WWE Hall of Fame rings amongst the 3 of us, and none of them belong to me. We've got Booker T and JBL. Guys, this is a match to get excited about. This Wyatt Swamp match, getting inside the brain of Bray Wyatt. Booker, what kind of sadistic things do you think we're going to see here tonight?
Man, I you know what? I'm not gonna even say I don't know what we're gonna see, but I've been anticipating this swamp match ever since they announced it. You know, but I look at Braun Strowman, man. I mean, the monster among men. But I look at both sides. I look at the monster and I look at the man. On Friday night on SmackDown, I mean, he came out and he destroyed John Morrison. But before that match, it seemed like, you know, he was trying to convince himself above all. You know, he wasn't trying to convince anyone but himself. To me, that's what it seems like. And when a man like Braun Strowman, I'm gonna just leave you with this analogy right here. A man like Braun Strowman, when he has been locked up for so long, just say a man been locked up for 20 years, and he knows exactly what he's going to deal with every day, and he knows his freedom is about to come. It's scary, man, knowing you're about to go home. And right now, Braun Strowman is about to go home.
Wow. JBL, what do you think about that? You think Braun Strowman's going to go home?
Yeah, I'm with King Book on this. I think he's going home for a reason. He's going home to cut the umbilical cord. He's going home to cut that paternal overhang that he has from Bray Wyatt. Look, I agree everything that Booker said about Braun Strowman. We've seen some of the strongest men of all time. The strongest man, Mark Henry, Bill Kazmaier was in the business for a while, Ted Arcidi, Ken Patera. I've never seen anybody that had the strength and the speed and athleticism of Braun Strowman. Everybody who's a champion, and the King Booker will tell you, they want to go down with the greats. And the only way that Braun Strowman, he knows this, can go down with the greats, is to take off that paternal overhang of Bray Wyatt. And that's why he's going home. To me, I think this is necessary for Braun's career. I can't wait for this match tonight.
Booker, you and I have talked about this before, but you've spoke about how Braun Strowman needs that other thing to chew on to really get him to that next level as Universal Champion. You think that this is that opportunity for him right now, everything going on with Bray Wyatt?
I mean, it is. I mean, Bray Wyatt, like I say, the man is there, and he wants to be his own man. Not to be cliche or anything like that, but the method behind the madness of Bray Wyatt. Oh my God! In a swamp match, we can see anything. I'm looking forward to it.
Like, are there going to be gators in this swamp? Like, what else are we dealing with here?
Gators. Yeah, heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It's crazy. All right, so you guys see Braun Strowman walking away as the winner from this?
I don't know. Look,
that's on you, John.
No, look, I tell you, Braun Strowman is walking in there. He realizes he's going to be a free man after this, as King Booker says, or he's going to be a champion that's always going to have that asterisk beside him. He wants to get rid of that. I'm leaning a little bit right now toward Bray Wyatt.
Ooh, okay.
Hey, Bray Wyatt said one thing on Friday night. You do not want to see the Fiend come out. That right there is something no one wants to see. I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt.
Well, we're all very much looking forward to this swamp match, but time to head back over to Stamford. We've got Scott and Peter Rosenberg standing by.
All right, thanks, guys. Of course, we're going to be hearing more from Renee, JBL, and Booker throughout this fine program as we head towards the horror show at Extreme Rules. Coming up, top of the hour. And Pete, listen, this is one of those matches, regardless of the outcome, right? Regardless of who wins, this is going to change probably both superstars' lives forever. Who do you see walking out of that swamp tonight a winner?
Listen, I don't want to be generic and just fall in line with JBL and Booker, but I got to tell you, I'm on the same page. I think this is suited for Bray Wyatt. That's why we're in the swamp, because it's his zone. It's where he's comfortable. It's where he's meant to be. It's like me in a late night Taco Bell drive-through line, right? It's like you on some sort of weird chat room on the internet on a Friday night.
Nice analogy.
You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful.
It's the zone that you're meant to be in. So I tend to lean Bray Wyatt.
All right, listen, I'm going to have to go against you. I hate to go against Bray because that's his home, the swamp, and he could be setting up booby traps as we speak. But after seeing the way Braun was on Friday night, that crazed look in his eye, I got to go with Strowman.
And you're scared of running into Braun and catering.
Also a very good point, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, we learned on Friday Night SmackDown, Snickers and Dollar General customers have the chance to vote on a match stipulation for tonight's horror show at Extreme Rules. Those votes, along with Friday night's tie-breaking tag team matchup, determine that tonight's SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between The New Day and Cesaro and Nakamura would indeed be a tables match. Let's send it down to Orlando, where Kayla Braxton is standing by with Big E and Kofi.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guests, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, The New Day.
Yeah, come on, 4 hours, bro. Come on, man.
It's a tie.
Gentlemen, tonight you'll be defending your SmackDown Tag Team titles against Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura in a tables match. How are you preparing for this?
Kayla, we are no strangers to tables, but in order to get inside the mind of a table, to truly understand a table, you have got to become one with that table.
Kayla, I've been eating off tables.
We've been sleeping on tables.
And you see, you have to be inside the wood, and the wood will be inside of you.
And like I said, in order to truly get inside the mind of a table, we had to bring in a very special mentor. They call him the Yoda of tables in the streets. As a matter of fact, he even started a movie with Ronda Rousey called what? Tables.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I give to you the brains of the Dudley Boys, quite clearly. Brother Devon!
Oh, my brother, testify!
This man has been single-handedly responsible for the destruction of over 10 million tables in his lifetime. They put everybody through tables.
Absolutely. And, hell, we even put the New Day through a table.
Come on, why you bringing up old stuff, man? We didn't bring you here for all that.
Don't do that, don't do that. Oh, great and mighty Devon, please access that big, girthy brain of yours and let your boys know what, pray tell, is the secret to your success when it comes to tables matches.
Gentlemen, it's quite simple. You just put your opponents through a table.
Well, the prophet has spoken.
Yes,
The word is gospel. The New Day shall put those evil, wicked fools through a table tonight. And do you know why?
Why, my brother? Why?
Because New Day rocks.
The hips,
New
baby.
Day
Let
rocks.
me see that hips, D.
Day rock.
Oh, yeah.
Day rock. Day rock.
That's
Nasty.
All right, SmackDown Tag Team titles on the line tonight, Pete. Listen, last time these two teams battled it out, there was pure chaos. Last 2 weeks, actually. Which one of these two squads do you think can stay focused enough on their strategy to come out with a victory tonight and leave with championship gold?
Well, that was a very stupid question, Scott.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Because obviously the New Day knows how to focus. They're six-time champions.
Okay.
This is what they do. However, I'll redeem your bad question slightly by saying the following. It is possible that the New Day could lose a little bit of focus because they're so used to being champions. Whereas Shinsuke and Cesaro need gold around their waist, right? These guys are too good. They're artistes. They're there to do this for a reason. This is their passion. This is their business. They're not joking around. They're not rolling around on the floor with wrestle buddies like you on a Saturday night, okay? This is what they do. So if you're gonna do it at this level, you want to prove it by getting gold around your waist. They have an opportunity tonight against the six-time champs.
Oh, now that you mention it, my Saturday does sound a little lame. Listen, Cesaro and Shinsuke did pick the stipulation of the tables match. Who do you think has the advantage with the tables involved?
I guess that would become an all-out strength question. And there's strength on both sides, right? I mean, you have Big E, known for strength, and then you have Cesaro, who has absolute freakish strength.
Yeah.
And then you have the athleticism of Kofi and the athleticism of Shinsuke. So to me, it's even, Steven, when it comes to who goes through a table. I personally would love to see you go through a table. Unlikely to happen tonight.
My mother and my doctor would not appreciate that. Listen, my friends, there are two superstars on the women's side who have a chance to walk out of the horror show at Extreme Rules with literally all the championship gold. How dominant have Bayley and Sasha Banks been of late? Well, why don't we just ask them?
Unstoppable.
Unbeatable.
First ever.
Women tag team champions.
The golden role models. Bayley and Banks have dominated everybody to step in their path. For the second time in their careers, they're tag team champs.
We do it for the glory. One shot, no stopping now. We do it for the glory.
Do you know what it means to be a once-in-a-generation talent? She sold out the Barclays Center, one of the first women to headline Hell in a Cell, one half of the first ever women's tag team champions.
Ding dong, hello? I'm not lonely because I've got my best friend, Sasha Banks.
You
witnessing the greatest, yeah, I'm in the flesh. And that's true. Got the crowd going crazy when we pass through. We do it for the glory. One shot, no stopping now.
You're the greatest tag team all time. The Blueprint, Sasha Banks. She's the role model. She is Bailey Dose Straps. It's so heavy! What makes Bailey such a great champion? She has carried the SmackDown Women's division on her back for over a year. Bailey was the first ever Women's Grand Slam champion. Most women in the locker room could never, ever dream about that. The closest that they'll ever get to a Grand Slam is a greasy breakfast at Denny's.
Iron sharp as iron, so we sharp with the skills.
Is she better than Trish Stratus? Yes. John Cena, without a doubt. Lita? Absolutely. And I've never seen anybody as good as Bailey.
We do it for the glory. One shot, no stopping now. We do it for the glory.
Damn, we are good. Oh my goodness!
We do it for the glory.
These titles represent our friendship. We are without a doubt the best tag team champions ever.
Our friendship is unstoppable.
Unbeatable, unconquerable.
Man, you know, you can't argue with the success, but just the obnoxious arrogance of those two. I mean, it's just off the charts.
Who, Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss?
No, come on. You know I'm talking about Sasha and Bailey. Come on, it's
obnoxious.
It's over the top, Pete. It's over the top.
No. These are called champions. These are called role models. These are my personal role models. You know what? Can you give me my camera here? There we go. I want to talk to you, the viewer. Let's ignore Scott for a second. I just want to say we are watching history. We are watching some of the greatest superstars of all time. I also want to take this moment to apologize. I was talking on Cheap Heat, the world's #1 sports and recreation podcast on ESPN, and I was talking to my audience, and I said some things a few weeks ago about Sasha and Bailey, and I want to apologize. I doubted you. I questioned this run that you're on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're talking about, imagine if Lita and Trish were mixed with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, plus a little bit of HBK, Macho Man Randy Savage, everything all put together. That's what we're watching. We're watching history with Sasha and Bailey. And frankly, you should speak with them with more reverence and respect.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you took that diatribe time to make a bathroom run, I do not fault you. Folks, Sasha Banks and Bailey both in championship action tonight. The Boss challenging Asuka for the Raw Women's title, which we're going to get to in a bit. But first, let's talk Bailey defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Nikki Cross. Pete, Friday night SmackDown, we saw Nikki Cross backstage with Alexa Bliss. Kind of the confidence not there right now, doubting herself heading into tonight's matchup.
Well, here's how I look at it. Would you doubt yourself if you were about to have a matchup with Mike Tyson in 1988? Because that's basically what Nikki Cross is dealing with. She's going against Bailey in her prime.
That's the comparison?
Yes.
You know? Mike Tyson.
Think, do you remember the Spinks fight, 91 seconds?
Uh-huh.
Think about Tyson's Spinks.
Yeah.
That's what you're seeing tonight. So people love Nikki Cross, and they love Michael Spinks. But you remember how that ended.
Yeah.
That's why I'm
Quickly.
worried about Nikki
It ended
Cross.
quickly.
That's right.
All right, well, listen, let's say Nikki does win tonight, right? The spotlight now shines on Nikki Cross if she wins. How does Alexa Bliss handle that? How does their friendship move forward? Does Alexa kind of get a little jealous now? Because she's always #1 in that relationship.
Well, hold on. Bliss is a decorated champion. Let's start there. But again, the reason you worry about that is the exact thing you don't have to worry about with Sasha Banks and Bailey. Why? Because they've been friends forever. They're true best friends. Can I just add, not only are they great, have you seen Sasha Banks' dog? It's one of the cutest corgis on planet Earth. And as the proud owner of a corgi myself, Bear the dog, let me tell you, that is a gorgeous animal. Gorgeous.
Prediction, I gather you're going, Bailey?
That's correct.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, the new and improved United States Championship is up for grabs tonight. Apollo Crews defends the title against MVP, who's actually been carrying around that beautiful new championship. Let's go back to Orlando to Charlie Caruso.
Look how the light catches it. Just right. And look how it matches my ring. Perfect, right? Look at that. Look at that. That's
U.S. title?
Yeah, man. That's perfect. Bam. Just put my plate on.
Excuse me, MVP, Bobby. Now, I was curious about your strategy.
I know. You were just about to ask me how much money I spent on this beautiful United States Championship, right?
Well, it was actually...
I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna tell you how much money I spent on it. That's not what we're gonna discuss tonight.
Okay, fair enough, but what I was really going to ask you is about your title match tonight at the horror show at Extreme Rules against the, well, actual United States champion, Apollo Crews.
Apollo Crews? You see, a real champion comes to work. But Apollo Crews has been, the witness relocation program ever since I introduced him to the Hurt Business. So, not the champ.
It's all good, Roberto. It's all good. See, let me explain this to you. Apollo Crews is verified. You know, as far as the WWE is concerned, he's officially the champ.
By title.
You know, but here's the more important thing. Tonight, even if Apollo is 100%, he still has to deal with me, the greatest United States champion of all time. And I spent a mint having this championship belt made for me, because there are some things money can't buy, and that's wisdom. And I have the wisdom to know that I will maintain this United States championship going forward. Apollo Crews' youthful exuberance put him in a terrible position. All I wanted to do was mentor him. All I wanted to do was help him. They say that a smart man learns from his mistakes, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Well, a lot of people around here better start getting wise, because after I'm done with Apollo Crews, when Lashley and I are driving to our after party to celebrate my championship, Apollo will be pondering his lack of wisdom. Well, let's just say it like this. It's not smart or wise to disrespect MVP and Bobby Lashley. Let's bounce, baby.
You know, you are so used to hanging out in the VIP lounge of any club that you're in. I mean, I could see you balling with that beautiful new championship.
Oh,
that thing is dynamite.
I cannot wait until MVP has that title.
You think he's taking it tonight?
I know he's taking it tonight.
You really in for MVP tonight?
He's the greatest U.S. champion in history.
That we know, in history. But how about present day?
History's going to repeat itself tonight. And first of all, I've been in the VIP lounge with MVP before.
Really?
Yes. He's a good friend of mine.
Listen, come on. Talk about Apollo. I mean, the guy's got the speed, the strength, the agility in his corner.
Yeah.
I know MVP has Lashley in his corner. But
not only that, Scott Stanford, he's got the brains. That's what MVP does. He is a mastermind. In my opinion, MVP, along with Sasha Banks and Bayley, are the MVPs of the WWE right now, period. MVP does everything well. What can't MVP do well? I'll wait.
He's a good athlete. He's a good talker. He's a good businessman. I can't argue with you right there. Does he pull his veteran bag of tricks out of the bag tonight?
Absolutely. And then he's going to be unstoppable. Once he has the U.S. championship around his waist, MVP cannot be stopped.
See if you're right, my friend. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most intriguing and possibly most gruesome matches coming your way at the horror show at Extreme Rules. Of course, we're talking about Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio in an eye for an eye match. These two superstars are just swimming in bad blood and disgust for one another. Tonight, either Rollins or Mysterio will have to do the unthinkable to walk out a winner.
An eye for an eye. An eye for an eye. An eye. An eye for an eye. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? You know what that means? I know what it means. An eye for an eye. I know what it means. I'm trying to understand how we got to this point. Rey Mysterio sacrificed himself for the future of Monday Night Raw.
Damn you for everything you put my family through. But something needs to be done about him.
Dominic is an adult. He can either stand by me.
Someone from this family.
Or he can become a sacrifice as well.
And
Dominic all over Seth Rollins!
an eye.
The Monday Night Messiah has messed with the wrong family.
I want you to know, Ray, that whatever becomes of your son, that is on you. Seth Rollins tried to end my career. Terrorize my family.
Now Rollins is going to make Ray watch. Don't do it. Carrillo running off the Messiah.
You put your hands on my son. You crossed every line there is to cross.
Stop to Carrillo.
Now it's my turn. Extreme Rules is called the Horror Show. And that's exactly what it's going to be. I'm gonna make a sacrifice of my own. I will be forced to rip, tear, and gouge. You're walking into our match with 2 eyes? Until he is completely blind. But you'll be carried out with only one.
There will be no forgiveness, no atonement. It is ordained by fate.
Eye for an eye.
All right, gentlemen, safe to say that this matchup is going to be very difficult to watch. Eye for an eye, the stipulation, of course, that you have to pluck your opponent's eyeball out of its socket in order to win. Keeping in mind that Rey Mysterio was the man that actually chose this stipulation. JBL, are you surprised that this is the route that Rey wanted to go with this?
No, I'm not. I mean, you brought Ray's son into this. Look, WrestleMania 25, I wrestled Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. He defeated me. I got so upset afterwards. I retired. I quit the business after that. And I hadn't been back in the ring since. And there's a reason that Rey Mysterio is the ultimate underdog here. I've seen him against the Big Show. We think he didn't have a chance. Look, Rey Mysterio has everything to fight for in this. Rey Mysterio is going to go after Seth Rollins. I was in a match one time in Vienna, Austria, working for Otto Wanz when my tag team partner literally thought he had nothing else to do, and he stuck his thumb in our opponent's eye, trying to pull it out of his head. It's one of the most shocking, brutal things I've ever seen. That's legal in this match. This is crazy to me that this is being sanctioned. This is being allowed. I can't wait to watch it if you can watch it, but I think it's going to be something people are going to talk about for years.
Without a question. And Booker, do you think that there's going to be too much emotion coming into this match for Rey Mysterio? I mean, is he going to be able to execute this properly? Does he have something up his sleeve perhaps going into this?
You know what? I don't know if he got something up his sleeve. He should. Have something up there. Because me personally, I was always one about, trying to get an upper hand. I didn't care if I had to cheat to do it. That's just part for the course. But my thing is, this is something that my colleague John said a second ago. And, he brought his son Dominic into this. I got to beg to differ, man. Dominic kind of like interjected himself into this. Dominic, you work with Rey Mysterio. Me and Rey Mysterio wrestled in 2006. I actually happened to beat him on that time. But Rey Mysterio was a guy that was standing on his own 2 feet. Rey Mysterio was a guy that could go out there and fight his own battles. Dominic stepping into the game. The question is Dominic a distraction? Is he a reason why all of this is happening? Me personally, I think so. Because I think the kid needs to be in somebody's school, preferably a little small school down in Texas. He can go and perhaps help him out. But I do not think that kid is ready for the big time, and that could be the problem here.
All right, so when it all comes down to this eye for an eye, which man is going to be losing an eyeball tonight? Is it going to be Seth Rollins or is it going to be Rey Mysterio? John?
Let me answer first. One thing about Seth Rollins, man, he's been getting daggers thrown at him. Guys like, Kevin Owens been coming at him. Aleister Black been coming at him. This guy has not wavered. I'm going to go with Seth Rollins to come out on top tonight.
He seems very solid right now. JBL, what do you think?
I'm going with Rey Mysterio. I agree with everything that King Booker said, but King Booker, I'm not a father. You are. If that was your son that Seth Rollins went after, I think you would do anything you could possibly do to hurt Seth Rollins, and I think Rey Mysterio is going to do that tonight.
Look, my son's ass would have been at home studying.
All right, guys.
That's a good dad.
It's time for us to get into our first bit of action for the night, so we're going to head things on down to ringside.
And I still can't believe we're on the precipice of later on tonight during the Horror Show at Extreme Rules pay-per-view right here on the WWE Network. It will be the first ever eye for an eye match between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio.
You know, to say that these circumstances are a bit disturbing would be the understatement of the year. You know, I'd love to have some analysis on this, but I couldn't even begin to fathom what expertise goes into something like that.
But we do know this match here on the kickoff show will have some bearing on Mysterio versus Rollins later tonight.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Marigot, Quebec, Canada, weighing in at 266 pounds, Kevin Owens!
Kevin Owens, who's fought alongside Rey Mysterio and most importantly against Seth Rollins, out to maybe do some good on behalf of Rey Mysterio here tonight. If Kevin Owens can be successful, he can take away a staple of Seth Rollins' vicious attacks.
And his opponent, from Melbourne, Australia, weighing in at 205 pounds, Murphy!
You know, I'm looking at Murphy right now, the disciple of the Monday Night Messiah, and I can't imagine in the back of Murphy's mind, he's not thinking about what could happen later on tonight in that eye for an eye match.
Byron, to your point, this past week on Raw, Murphy asked that very question of Seth Rollins. Murphy asked his own Monday Night Messiah, are you really going to go through with this? To which Seth Rollins said emphatically, yes. I'm sure Murphy's stunned his wheel. Whoa! But Murphy's got to focus on this match.
We're starting things off quick.
And Kevin Owens going right in here on Murphy.
Let me tell you something. You don't get into a hockey fight with a Canadian.
And Kevin Owens wearing out Murphy in the corner. Trying to take out the disciple of Murphy. And Byron, we've talked about it many times. Kevin Owens has borne the brunt of Seth Rollins' evolution into the Monday Night Messiah.
Yeah, Kevin Owens has been on the front line of the resistance to the movement of the Monday Night Messiah.
Oh, shot right to the midsection, and now Murphy trying to light up KO. Go for another stunner, second attempt, and a knee sends Kevin Owens down. Now Murphy into the cover and a kick out.
And Kevin Owens needs to be very careful right here. He's trying to end things a little bit early. Get this encounter over with in the very beginning stages, but Murphy is he's a game player. He knows how to come out here and put together an offensive flurry, and that's what you're seeing right now.
I think you say the same thing about Murphy, Joe. Murphy wanted to end this early so he can place his focus on what's to come later on tonight between Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, who knows what Seth Rollins could be up to, what plans he could have with Murphy in store, but we'll see how this match goes first. And hey, Joe, do you have any idea what we can fathom to expect from Rollins versus Mysterio tonight?
I don't have any idea, and I would hate to meet the person that did have a expertise in such a thing.
Like, how do you strategize? How do you mentally prepare yourself to extract one's eye from its eye socket?
Oh, he's come this far. Kevin Owens said it himself. Oh, wait a minute. Now Murphy trying to slow down Kevin Owens with a sleeper.
A wise strategy from Murphy, centered in the middle of the ring, wearing down KO.
Kevin Owens has said it himself regarding Rey Mysterio, that Mysterio is one of the all-time greats in this business, in and out of the ring. Joe, you've experienced that firsthand. How is it possible that Seth Rollins drove Mysterio to this situation?
Well, yeah, Seth Rollins did what everybody does, and he made this very, very personal. He went after Rey Mysterio. He went after Rey Mysterio's family. This one didn't go after family. He went after his family's eye.
Think about it. Kevin Owens came up with the idea for Rey Mysterio or Seth Rollins to pick the stipulation, and when wait a
DDT! Face first into the canvas goes Murphy.
That could be it right now for Murphy if Kevin Owens can just roll over and cover him.
Well, I believe Kevin Owens got all of that one.
Watch this, Murphy from the second rope, and boom, face first into the canvas.
The advantage is for the taking for Kevin Owens. If he can make it back to his feet, Murphy beats him.
And now Kevin Owens trying to set up Murphy, inverted atomic drop. Now Owens, oh wow, what a clothesline.
Inside out goes Murphy.
And follows it up. Oh, went for the senton knees right to the back.
Oh, you know, that does just as much damage to Murphy's knees, believe that.
266 pounds crashing down, but Murphy has bought himself a little bit of time.
We can't gloss over the fact that despite the company he keeps, Murphy is an extremely talented athlete.
Oh, into the top turnbuckle now. Kevin Owens looking for the belly back suplex. No, face first into the top turnbuckle.
Get ready.
Oh, I'm ready, Joe.
I believe we got a cannonball.
Boom, right to the face. Could this be it for Murphy? Covered by Owens. Oh, and a kick out.
Gonna take a little bit more to put Murphy away here tonight.
And watch this, bam! All of his weight driving right into Murphy in the corner. But Kevin Owens now has to figure out how he can put away the disciple of the Monday Night Messiah.
The wheels are turning for Kevin Owens.
Owens knows what it means to sacrifice oneself to try and take out Seth Rollins. He broke his ankle at WrestleMania trying to do just that, was successful that night. Oh, this year at WrestleMania.
I just think from that example alone, if anyone can relate to why Rey Mysterio has chosen to go this far, it is Kevin Owens.
But a modicum of how far we expect later tonight will go between Mysterio and Rollins. Now Kevin Owens has got Murphy on the top turnbuckle.
Kevin Owens there to join him, ascending to the second rope.
Murphy's about to take a ride on the mountain of despair.
Kevin Owens trying to go for the superplex here, and now Murphy. Murphy trying to slow up KO. Oh, and a shot right to the face, and
KO's wobble.
Oh, and Owens goes down.
Murphy all alone, perched up high.
Meteora, double knees right to the face. And now Murphy trying to drag himself into the cover. Hook to the leg, and Owens able to kick out.
Watch this. Again. Oh, crashing impact of the Meteora, courtesy of Murphy, yet not enough to put Kevin Owens away.
Now Murphy trying to do good on the part of the Monday Night Messiah, trying to take out one of the great rivals of Seth Rollins in Kevin Owens here on the Horror Show at Extreme Rules Kickoff Show.
Oh, man, what a right hand. What a right hand by Kevin Owens.
And Murphy, shot to the inside of the leg. And now Owens thinking about the pop-up power bomb. No. Murphy able to counter the super kick. Oh, and a heavy series of back elbows now by Kevin Owens.
Sounded like a gunshot. Oh, another one.
Close range with the knees.
And the power. The power of Murphy.
That might be it for Kevin Owens.
Into the brain buster. Here's the cover. Oh, kick out by KO.
At the last second, Kevin Owens able to pop up the right shoulder. And this match will continue.
Watch the power of Murphy muscling Kevin Owens into position and then delivering on the brainbuster, but credit to KO, he continues to fight.
That has been the moniker of Kevin Owens, the story of his career. Just keep fighting. Fight Owens, fight.
Now Murphy zeroed in on Kevin Owens. Oh, and now look at Kevin Owens trying to fire back out of the corner.
And Murphy needs to be careful. He does not want to get to a slugfest with Kevin Owens. He's too durable.
Now it is Kevin Owens who is vulnerable on the top rope.
And see, this right here, this is what Murphy needs to be doing. He needs to be isolating Kevin and finding ways to do massive damage.
Oh, and Owens was the one who attempted a superplex earlier on, and now it looks like Murphy trying to turn that around on KO.
Kevin Owens trying to hold on.
Oh, shot right to the ribs of Murphy. Oh, and a headbutt. Down goes Murphy to the canvas.
Owens has to shake it off quick.
Kevin Owens in a dangerous position. Kick right to the side of the face.
Devastating Gammon Gary just ricocheting off of Kevin Owens' skull.
Murphy looking for it again.
And now Murphy once again going up.
He wants his superplex bad.
Murphy up top with Kevin Owens.
Well, Kevin Owens a second ago shaking his head defiantly.
Oh, wait a minute now.
Owens going.
Owens driving Murphy down, able to counter.
And Kevin Owens capitalized right here now.
Oh, and look at this! Beautiful! Canny agility of Owens! Cover! Oh, and Murphy kicked out at two!
Still not enough!
Kevin Owens leapt into the moonsault, but credit to Murphy, still around here in this match.
I thought Murphy was done for. I thought Kevin Owens had Murphy beat.
Watch this again, Joe. You know Kevin Owens very well. He can surprise a lot of competitors like he did to Murphy just here.
Absolutely. Probably one of the most unsung aerialists in the entire WWE.
Using the top rope, and Murphy creates a little bit of separation. Now it's Murphy going to the top turnbuckle.
I'm going for that Meteora again.
Oh, this time Owens out of the way.
Super kick right on the chin. Here comes Murphy.
No!
Into a stunner. Kevin Owens takes care of Murphy.
Here is your winner, Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens doing his best to remove at least one variable from the equation of Rollins versus Mysterio later tonight.
It was a back and forth battle, but it led up to this, a super kick from Kevin Owens, and finish it off with a stunner.
Kevin Owens will take out Murphy here on the kickoff show. Still to come tonight, Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio, the first ever eye for an eye match. Did Kevin Owens just remove Murphy from that matchup?
Boy, hopefully not a sign of things to come tonight for Seth Rollins and his minions.
Well, yeah, if things go like that for Seth Rollins, the man may be blind.
Yeah, well, at least in one eye.
Yeah, half blind.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
It's not what you want.
Folks, earlier on we talked about Bayley's SmackDown Women's Championship defense against Nikki Cross. Bayley's partner, Sasha Banks, looking to take the Raw Women's title from Asuka. And Peter, I got to tell you, this matchup, two supreme athletes promising to be off the charts this match.
These are two of the best athletes in WWE. They may be 1 and 2 in the women's division. Sasha and Asuka are frankly as good as it gets. Unfortunately for Asuka and her championship reign, she's up against the boss. It's Banks time, baby. We know what's happening. We know what's happening, right?
You've been waiting to say that all night.
The gold. All the gold. And it took me time to figure it out. Like I said, I admit my mistakes.
Yeah.
It took me a little bit of time to realize what we were dealing with. But ultimately, I know it is time for Sasha and Bayley to have all the gold.
If they leave with all the gold tonight,
it's going to be great. I agree.
The arrogance is just going to be through the roof. And not you, them. Not you, them. My friends, let's get more on this Raw Women's Championship match. We're going to check in with Renee Young, JBL, and Booker T.
All right, guys, so the Raw Women's Championship is on the line. Asuka, of course, defending her title against Sasha Banks. But as we come off of the 5-year anniversary of the debut of Sasha Banks, we're looking back at all of the women's evolution. Both of these women incredibly instrumental in everything that's gone on with women's evolution. But looking at the pocket, the sweet spot that Sasha Banks is in right now, everyone's been a buzz about Sasha Banks, about Bayley, especially during the circumstances that we're in right now. Do you think that Sasha has what it takes to actually be able to walk away as Sasha Dos Belts, much like Bayley? Book, you think she gets it done tonight?
I'm a huge Sasha Banks fan. Sasha can win on any given night. She's just that good. She's extraordinary talent. And her and Bayley, man, that's a lethal combination. Twin demons of evil. That's what I call them. But as far as Asuka, man, Asuka, one thing about becoming champion, when you become champion, you get a sense of that cloak of invincibility that you can't lose, especially after you go on a little run, after you get a few wins under your belt. Right now, that's where Asuka is now. Tonight, these two inside the square circle, it's going to be a battle of wheels. Who wants it more? I think it's going to come out on top tonight.
John, how much do you think that we're going to see Kairi Sane and Bayley get involved in this matchup tonight to sort of tip the scale one way or the other?
I hope not at all, because remember, before Charlotte and Becky became such household names, it was Sasha and Asuka. You know, this match these are two of the best of all time, and they both have incredible momentum. Me looking at Bayley and Sasha kind of reminds me of Triple H and Shawn Michaels back in the late 90s. Two great champions who happen to be best friends. And that creates a lot of opportunities for those friends that are great champions as well. I think that Sasha has a lot of momentum coming this, but as Booker says, winning begets winning. And Asuka right now is the champion. I personally think that Asuka walks out of this retains and walks out as champion.
All right, you guys are both siding on Asuka with this one.
I concur.
All right. Well, we're going to find out about that tonight. However, tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw, here's another thing we're going to get to find out. If Randy Orton will be adding another name to his illustrious list as the Legend Killer, as we're going to have an unsanctioned match, The Big Show taking on Randy Orton. You know, we're talking about people in this spot. We're talking about Sasha Banks, where she's at, Asuka, where she's at. We continually talk about Randy Orton and just how good he is. What is this going to do for Big Show? Should he not be able to walk out victorious in this match? I mean, what does this do to the legacy of the Big Show, John?
I don't think it hurts it at all. Look, Randy's called the Legend Killer for a reason. I think you have to go back to something like 1978 to 1980, Andre the Giant, to see something comparable to Big Show. That Giant, not the one in 86 that was slammed by Hogan, who was already having some type of problems from arthritis and a bad back. That Giant was an incredible athlete. Big Show is in that level to me, and maybe the greatest big man of all time. But Randy Orton, I've never seen the Viper better than he is right now. I can't wait for this matchup because I think you got Big Show who thinks he still has a lot to prove. He doesn't. And Randy who wants to knock off another legend, which I think he will.
Look, what do you think?
You know, just like John said there a second ago, Andre the Giant, all the legends that have come along in the business, it's the same. Time waits for no man, and that's where we are right now with Big Show. Big Show is, like John said, has given a lot. But he, just like Andre the Giant, has had his issues being so big, having to carry so much weight for so long. You got to understand, Big Show has been in the WWE for quite some time. And Randy Orton, he is a guy that's always looking to put a notch on his belt, no matter friend or foe. That's just the way Randy is, that man. So Randy Orton could go out and end the career of Big Show if Big Show find himself in that position.
Well,
you know, one thing else, you know, Randy Orton, if he wins a couple more championships, he could go down as the greatest of all time. I mean, we talk about the Mount Rushmores of wrestling. Randy Orton, you win a couple more championships, he has an argument for being there now.
Without doubt. And you go ahead.
But with a couple more championships, he has to be on it.
He has to be on it. And as we're talking about the Mount Rushmores, you got to keep in mind that Ric Flair is also in Randy Orton's corner for this matchup. I mean, these are the best of the best of the best. Big Show stepping back into the situation. So end of the day, I guess we'll all find out tomorrow, Monday night. It's all going down, unsanctioned match. Randy Orton taking on the Big Show. And stick with us here on the Horror Show at Extreme Rules Kickoff Show. We got plenty more stuff to come.
We take safety seriously, like in the Hyundai Tucson. It can help protect the ones you love and the ones they love. From the brand with more 2020 IIHS Top Safety Awards than Honda or Toyota. Feeling safe. It's better in a Hyundai Tucson.
As WWE Champion Drew McIntyre has conquered every challenger he's faced, tonight the Scottish superstar goes up against the man who says he's responsible for Drew's success in the form of Dolph Ziggler. As soon as he came to Raw, the show-off set his sights on the biggest fish in the pond, and tonight Dolph has an opportunity to reel in the title along with naming his own stipulation.
It took me 19 years to get my first WWE Championship.
Drew McIntyre fulfills his destiny.
I am not just on top of the mountain.
Drew McIntyre showing that he is indeed WWE Champion.
Drew McIntyre is the damn mountain.
Claymore and Drew McIntyre is still your WWE Champion.
To all the superstars out there, if you deserve an opportunity at the title, you get an opportunity.
You've forgotten the Drew McIntyre comeback story? Years ago, you were here and you got fired. You came to Monday Night Raw because of me. You and I went on to become dominant tag team champions because of me. And now, you are the WWE champion. Because of me. While you were shuffling around trying to find yourself, I was here. For 15 years, I have been a part of some of the most unforgettable moments in WWE history.
Dolph Ziggler is Mr. Money in the Bank. We got us a new world champion.
All I ask is what I am owed. A WWE title match.
You've become exactly what we used to despise. You have become an entitled jackass. Being that we're family, I'm gonna allow you to pick the stipulation of our match. At Extreme Rules, you're gonna lose, and it's gonna be because of me.
To put that big of a stipulation in the hands of Dolph Ziggler is crazy.
That's not how this works.
Close, Dolph. What does this mean on the way towards Extreme Rules? Very, very close.
I allowed Dolph to pick the stipulation for our match. He could technically pick a cage match. He could pick a no-holds-barred match. And it'd be the same result every single time. Drew McIntyre would still be the WWE champion at the end.
The stipulation that I chose for the horror show Extreme Rules is a secret. You are the same old Drew McIntyre. You are a backstabber.
Some nice revisionist history there. You use people, Dolph. I was your hired gun, your muscle. I did all the dirty work for you. The horror show that's Extreme Rules, I'm gonna maim you. I'm gonna torture you. And it's gonna be because of me.
So what stipulation will Dolph Ziggler pick for his WWE title opportunity against Drew McIntyre?
Drew, I created you. And at Extreme Rules, I will destroy you.
Peter, listen, I want to read you a quote from Dolph Ziggler in a recent interview. He said, "I need something that's more psychological, more of my way. And if I get this approved by WWE lawyers, I'll be disappointed if I don't walk out a WWE champion. And this is on him. He let me pick this." So what do you think the stipulation's going to be?
It's a great question. And I relate to Dolph Ziggler in a lot of ways, right? We're both great looking, incredible bodies, things of that nature. He now has sort of the Reese Witherspoon, Big Little Lies haircut going, but I don't have the option for that. If I'm Dolph Ziggler, how do you even the playing field with someone as gigantic as Drew McIntyre?
Yeah.
I think you want to go no DQ. I think you go no DQ and you come up with something. You get cerebral. And what do you come up with? What sort of a special guest could maybe appear to help you? Maybe there's someone else out there who has an axe to grind against Drew McIntyre.
It's very possible. I like the way you're thinking. Listen, a couple quick bullet points. Which one you think is more horrific tonight? The Wyatt Swamp fight, eye for an eye.
I mean, these are both matches that I would never want any part of. First of all, 20/20 vision, perfect, baby. No one's getting near
very
my
nice
eyes.
eyes
Thank you
on
very
your
much.
phone,
I have a
yeah.
great optometrist if you need a recommendation in the city. Also, a swamp. I'm going nowhere near a swamp. I don't leave New York City. I believe everywhere outside of New York City basically is a swamp.
Yeah.
More gruesome. The eye for an eye makes me queasy.
Yeah.
I don't want to see someone's eye up against the corner of the stairs. I can't deal with that. It freaks me out.
I was going to have a late dinner. I'm not going to be watching that. Real quick, SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Who comes away with the title?
I'm going to go New Day. These guys are just seasoned when it comes to big moments and denying championship opportunities, much like you were denied over and over again for dates in high school and college.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't subscribed to the WWE Network yet, the time is now, as you absolutely don't want to miss the action headed your way in mere moments. For Peter Rosenberg, I'm Scott Stanford. The horror show at Extreme Rules starts right now.